There's no fight we cannot win. What would have happened if Glinda had gone with Elphaba in Wicked's ending? Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Flickwire. My name is Darcy. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. After developing a strong bond throughout Wicked, Elphaba and Glinda are split up at the end of the movie. The story of Wicked follows Elphaba and Glinda, who become known as the Wicked Witch of the West and the Good Witch of the North, respectively, as they form an unlikely friendship at Shiz University. When Elphaba gets invited to visit the wizard in Emerald City, she asks Glinda to accompany her. However, their relationship is put to the test at the end of Wicked, when they discover that the wizard and Madame Morrible are behind the mistreatment of animals. After learning the truth about the wizard and Madame Morrible, Elphaba escapes from Emerald City, whereas Glinda chooses to stay behind. If Glinda chose to go with Elphaba at the end of Wicked, then the story of the upcoming Wicked for Good would play out a lot differently. However, Glinda choosing to remain in Emerald City showcases how her and Elphaba are drastically different characters. If this wasn't the case, here's what likely would have happened if Elphaba and Glinda stayed together at the end of Wicked. Elphaba's campaign would have been bolstered by Glinda's sociability. Throughout her entire life, Elphaba has always been an outsider in the world of Oz. Since practically no one understands why Elphaba has green skin, she is usually treated as an outcast in society. This can even be seen when she first meets Glinda in Wicked. When they first encounter each other at Shiz University, Glinda questions why Elphaba is green. Meanwhile, Glinda has the opposite social status as Elphaba, and has an easy time forming connections throughout the world of Oz. Glinda easily forms many connections at Shiz University and also has influential parents. Therefore, if her and Elphaba left Emerald City together at the end of Wicked, they would have had a much easier time rallying support for their rebellion against the wizard. Together, they could have convinced other students and possibly some teachers at Shiz University to join their cause. Additionally, Glinda could also reach out to her parents and convince them that the wizard is not who he claims to be. Overall, Glinda's support would make Elphaba's journey in Wicked for Good much easier. Madame Morrible probably would have tried to convince everyone that Elphaba kidnapped Glinda. The wizard and Madame Morrible would not just remain idle while Elphaba and Glinda rallied the people of Oz against them, however. They are both extremely influential figures in the world of Oz, and the wizard has successfully lied to the people of Oz for years. Therefore, they are both well-versed politically and would likely quickly come up with a plan to put an end to Elphaba and Glinda's rebellion. At the end of Wicked, Madame Morrible can already be seen painting Elphaba as the villain, branding her as a wicked witch. More than likely, the people of Oz would have been much more divided about the feud between Elphaba, Glinda, the wizard, and Madame Morrible. In Wicked, for Good, Madame Morrible will continue to tarnish Elphaba's name in an attempt to turn the people of Oz against her. If Glinda did go with Elphaba at the end of Wicked, then Madame Morrible's most logical course of action would be to convince people that she was actually kidnapped by the Green Witch. However, Madame Morrible's lies would only work for so long if Glinda publicly supports Elphaba. More than likely, the people of Oz would have been much more divided about the feud between Elphaba, Glinda, the wizard, and Madame Morrible. Fiyero probably would have stayed in contact with Elphaba and Glinda. The love triangle between Elphaba, Glinda, and Fiyero is one of the main factors that drives a wedge between their friendship in Wicked for Good. In the upcoming Wicked sequel, it is more than likely that Fiyero will disagree with Glinda's choices and ultimately end up escaping Emerald City with Elphaba. This will be a reason for Glinda to further resent Elphaba and choose not to work with her. However, this could have been avoided if Elphaba and Glinda stayed together at the end of Wicked. If Elphaba and Glinda left Emerald City together, It would make sense for them to return to Shiz University to reunite with Fiyero and their other friends. Without a doubt, Fiyero would believe everything they say about the wizard and Madame Morrible. If they are all together, it would be much easier for Elphaba, Glinda, and Fiyero to figure out their love triangle in a more peaceful way. Instead of Elphaba and Glinda being jealous of one another, they could have honest discussions to figure out what the best course of action is and avoid any potential heartbreak. Elphaba and Glinda probably would have won in the end. If Elphaba and Glinda worked together to resolve their differences and figured out their love triangle with Fiyero, it would be much easier to take down the wizard and Madame Morrible in Wicked for good. It seems clear that Elphaba and Glinda would have much happier endings if they worked together. If Wicked for Good follows the same story beats as the musical, the wizard will be banished from Oz and Madame Morrible will be arrested. However, despite them being stopped, Wicked for Good's ending will be bittersweet since the relationship between Elphaba and Glinda will never be fully repaired. Elphaba and Glinda's story will conclude in Wicked for Good, which will be released in theaters on November 21, 2025. If Wicked for Good follows Act 2 of the musical faithfully, then Elphaba and Fiyero will leave Oz together at the end of the movie. If Elphaba and Glinda worked together the whole time, then there wouldn't be so much bad blood between them, and everyone could have remained in Oz. Elphaba could have cleared her name, and her and Glinda could have been lifelong friends. However, all of this is impossible since Glinda did not leave Emerald City with Elphaba at the end of Wicked.